Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a unboxing and overview of this little brushless GPS drone by Contixo. As you can see here on the box, or the carrying case I should say, it's Contixo, C-O-N-T-I-X-O. I've never heard of this brand, but they're a pretty prominent Amazon seller of mostly GPS drones, it appears, from what I've seen. So this is just going to be the table review overview portion. I'll do a separate video with the actual flight review, which most of you guys want to see. So if you if you're just looking for the flight review, then just wait for that video. I just like to divide the video. I decided I wanted to divide the video up because these GPS drone reviews can get very, very long whenever it's just everything in one video, which I typically do, but it can really drag on 30-40 minutes. So this way you can choose which video you need to watch to see what you are looking for about the drone. So let's go ahead and dig in and see what comes inside of this Contixo. This is the F30. I don't think I mentioned yet the model number of this guy. As you can see here on the tag, I'll turn it around. Here it is. Hopefully that focuses in. That's the F30. So let's go ahead and get it out of here. One of the reasons I wanted to do an actual unboxing it per se is it's so neatly packaged. Now that's not as uncommon for the stuff from Amazon compared to what you may get from China directly, like from Banggood, but this one's exceptionally well packaged and just really tidy. And I just want you to see this because this gives you an idea of care or concern for the product, and it just gives a higher quality presentation, and I personally am a big fan of that. So your drone, this is your, I'll get it all out here in a second, but this is obviously the drone. This is your charging cradle for the 2 batteries that comes with this one, your controller. Back here is your construction manual, extra props, and a charging cable for the batteries. It plugs into the cradle, I should say. So we'll dig in here and see what's all, what everything looks like here in just a moment. Now, on the Amazon listing, you may notice if you look at it, if you go down in the video description, I'll include a purchase link to this. It looks slightly different on the Amazon website compared to the drone that I received. Could be that mine's just a slightly older model. They just have I noticed they have these little spinner-like attachments on the top of it where the props attach, and on mine they just uses these 2 screws. It appears they have some sort of quick release version now. It looks almost like the screw you'd see on the back of a computer case. I believe that's attaching to the drone now. I don't think it's a big deal. Otherwise the drone looks identical as far as I can tell. So that's one difference. They also they're giving away micro SD cards with a lot of their drones, and they advertise a 32 gig. It's a Contixo branded card. It looks like a SanDisk, but I don't think that's an actual relabeled one, but it could be. And they're including that with this drone, and this one I don't see, just doing a sneak peek in here, that this has an SD card with the one I got, but it doesn't matter. If you order it from Amazon, you will get the SD card version now, because this does have an SD card slot here on the side, and that's really important because you're not going to have all the drop frames that you might get if you're just recording over a Wi-Fi feed. In fact, if you fly it far enough away and it just records Wi-Fi, you're going to have drop frames or just frozen video. Now they advertise that this actually does shoot 4K video. Oftentimes you'll see 4K listed on these drones, and they're just talking about the photos. This is claiming 4K video. I'm sure it's going to be either 25 or 30 frames per second. There's no way it's going to do 60. But still, we'll see how it looks when we do get to that flight review. Now this is just a single axis camera that I'm pretty sure, yeah, it feels like that's motorized, I think. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't hear anything. We'll have to look at the controller. I hope this isn't one where you have to set the angle before you take off. If it's, it's usually you'll hear a little servo gear in there as you turn that. I'm not hearing that, so I'll have to take a closer look at that when we get looking at the controller. This looks like an LED here, and this is an optical flow camera to help you maintain a good lock. If you don't have a GPS lock, it helps to hold position. So that's what that is. The battery goes, I think, on top. So let's go ahead and let's open up, get the drone folded out, because obviously it's foldable and it is brushless. It's just I need to get something to see if I can pull this off here. It's probably not the best way to do this, pulling on that. It's almost like a trash bag type material. Now we can fold these arms out and actually get a closer look. I didn't want to do this ahead of time because I wanted you guys to see how nicely packaged this drone is. Holding all the props in place so nothing gets possibly damaged in transit. So there it is, all folded out. Now, probably the biggest selling point of this drone is its weight. They advertise this is sub 250 grams. As you know, there's a lot of restrictions on drones, especially in countries like Canada, I think maybe the UK, places where if you're under 250 grams, it's not too hard to fly. If you're over 250, it can be a real pain in the butt. This drone, they say, weighs 249 grams, and that is obviously with the battery here and already in place. So let's just get my scale and see here if we can confirm that it actually is indeed under 250 grams. The only possible weight difference we could have here is putting that SD card into a drone, but that's going to be well under a gram, a quarter of a gram or something. That should not make a difference. Let's go ahead and fire up the scale and set it down here and see what we get. We get 246. Let's fold in the arms just to make sure that we're not goofing up the weight with them out. I did this a while ago and I got 247. Let's see what we get now. No, 246. So that was all accurate a weight there. So they said 249. It's possible my little Amazon basic scale is a little bit off, but it's under 250, and that's really important. So that's good. If you're in the United States, that means you don't have to put your FAA number on the drone. If this is your only drone, then you don't even need to go to the FAA website as of right now and get that number, which is $5. I still believe you probably have to take that new test. The name of it's slipping my mind, that all drone pilots need to pass, but I'm not certain on that. I already did that, but I don't know if that applies to sub 250. I'm pretty sure it does, but it might not. All right, so that's the features there. The SD card, you got your LED, you got your optical flow, and your 4K camera on the front. There's a light here, I know, and of course the LED here on the bottom. So we'll have to see how this guy does when he gets out there and we fly it. Let's make sure I'm holding it within the camera view there, and what kind of flight time, and how stable is it. All that stuff is what's most important, because with a non-gimbal stabilized gimbal camera, you can't expect the video is going to be too stable, and that's unfortunate. Usually the video will wobble around, where at that point these drones become better for photos, because the photo at least is not going to be moving around on you. So lots of times I'll try to remember to take a photo of this, use it to take a photo. Let's see if we fire it up. I know it may be quiet for a moment. That's the ESC music. There is that blinking light, and I don't see anything here on the bottom at the moment, but you do have that front flashing light. Let's go ahead and turn it back off by holding in the power. It goes green for a moment and then it goes out when it's done. Let's go ahead and look at the controller, then we'll look at the battery and the charger and the instruction manual last. So they do include these little foam insert things over the knobs, which I like to help protect the gimbal sticks. You got your on and off here. This is probably to unlock and lock the props. On the back you have these little handles that swivel out. You get a nice comfortable hold. The controller feels decent. This is not my first time seeing this controller. This is pretty common. I don't know if this is an MJX drone. It sort of looks like it, and the controller kind of reminds me of some of theirs. The antennas, one of these is real, and it's this one right here. Hopefully if I get this to focus in, it should be pretty close to focus, but you might be able to see that there is a wire in here. So this, the antenna needs to be up. This one you don't actually have to put up because it's just for looks. It's fake. So of course you got altitude hold, as with the case with all these GPS drones. Again, I think this is your motor unlock. This should be your photo video button. Probably going to be a quick press for photo, long press for video start and stop. This looks like your return to home, so you press that, and we'll have to see. It could be a long press, but it may be just lots of times just a quick press. Come back and it should land very, very close, hopefully, to where it took off from. In case you lose signal or the low battery alert, these drones, if the batteries get low on a GPS drone, it'll come back and land. so it doesn't end up falling out of the sky on you far away from where you took off. Or if you just want to call it home, then you obviously press the button. On the side you have a GPS on and off switch, this little toggle. So by default it's on. If you turn it off, you'll go into an altitude hold only mode, I believe, though it may then at that point use optical flow. Some of them do, and then sometimes it gives you additional features in the app you can test, like a active or dynamic tracking. I don't know if this drone has that, but some of them do, and they only work in optical flow mode, so that's why that switch may be there. Up on top you've got, this looks like your auto takeoff and landing, so you probably have to unlock the prop and then press this to take off. Press it also again to land the drone. Again, this is just going by my experience. I've not looked closely at the manual, so it's possible something I'm telling you here could be a little off. This one here is going to be your rates, and it's going to be 2 or 3. It says high-low, so I'm thinking it's just 2 rates, a beep and a double beep. And probably a long press would turn the LEDs off. That's what that little light says. I don't know why you want to do that. You're not going to really save any battery power. This looks like a spot for knobs, and they're not there. And that would be to, you know, typically you'd have one knob at the very least to tilt that camera. So I am thinking this, unfortunately, this camera appears to not be motorized. So at takeoff, you're going to have to preset it. And at that case, I would just leave it straight out as far as it can go. In fact, if it would go up any upwards at all, which it does just barely, that'll help as you're flying in higher rates forward to hold the horizon a little better. But unfortunately, with it being a fixed camera, in terms of fixed after you take off, you're going to be filming down at the ground more the faster you go, or the more forward pitch that you give the drone. So do keep that in mind. But hopefully it takes, you know, a good photo. In the video, we're just hoping just at least doesn't have a lot of, you know, wobble, jello wobble or something in it. Which, being brushless, it's less likely to compared to the brushed motors. But you know, we'll see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and open up this. So actually, let's just pull all the battery off the drone. That'll be easier than taking that out of the bag, out of that package. They're both going to be the same. These are, let's make sure we get this focused in here. This is a 7.6 volt 1500 milliamp hour battery. 7.6 volt is 0.2 volts above the standard 7.4 that they usually say. That means this is a lithium polymer high voltage. It's a high voltage LiPo. So a little bit more power, that's good. So I like to see that if they use that on these drones. You don't see that as much on the borderline toy grade. This is, I would put this as borderline toy grade to hobby grade in my personally. Really for me, hobby grade needs to have some sort of stabilization, in my opinion. Used to be you just needed brushless motors. That's become so common now that it's not that big of a deal. And then you got your cradle here, which I'll go ahead and open this up. This is going to be where you put the batteries in. So let's grab that battery out of the drone again, if I can do that with one hand. And this is going to go down in here, looks like this. Snap in. The cable, which I'll show you in a minute, is a USB-C. That's nice. And that will power up this charging cradle. We'll have to see once we get going where the lights are. There looks like there might be some lights right here. Something is going to indicate when the battery's done. And obviously I've not had a chance to dig through the instruction manual exactly on that. But that's nice. That means we can take both batteries, charge both of them up at the same time, and you can have 2 batteries ready to go fly this drone and double your flight time. But I always recommend giving the drone a short break in between flights, just to let the motors and cool down a little bit. And let's go ahead and look in the back of the case. This is a pretty nice case. It doesn't have the foam, cheap foam inserts like some of them. It actually has the molded insert. This is your USB cable and a Phillips screwdriver to remove the props, because this one obviously has the different style than the one in the Amazon listing. And this is the bag with your full set of extra props. And then inside of here you've got your instruction manual, which I've taken a peek at this. This is one of the best instruction manuals I've ever seen in terms of just its full color. It looks to be well written. Just really nice. Not as unexpected again for an Amazon product, but they still can be a bit hit or miss. This is light years better than, here's some inserts here. They say they'll give you, if you share your experience, they can give you extra props, a 32 gig card. That's the one they're including now. So if you buy this now, you may have a different insert, or an extra battery, which an extra battery is very nice. That's pricey for a LiPo battery. Here's that instruction manual. Just as you guys can see here, I mean, look how well written that appears to be. How it's nice and it's in color. This is what you want. It's going to really help. It's going to really help you to know how to fly this drone. Looking to see, I'm pretty sure, yeah, this one just takes probably AA batteries. It doesn't take, I was looking at the control instructions, I don't think it has a charge, it's not rechargeable. Obviously the drone batteries are. Now, here is the app. This is the MRC Pro app. I've never heard of this app. It's probably a reskinned version of another app, but here is your app store for iOS and your Android Google Play QR code to scan to grab that app. I'll try to grab that and get a screenshot of what the app actually looks like here and put that overlaid on the video. But yeah, there's a lot to dig through, a lot more than I'm going to be able to do here during this review. You can see they break down all of the buttons. This is your compass calibration. They tell you how to do that, which is always going to be a horizontal and a vertical spinning, and the controller will beep. Lots of times the app will also confirm that with you if you're connected to the app as well. I don't know if it tells you how to do a level. Here it is. Gyroscopic calibration is both sticks down and to the left. That's to set the drone to level. And it's talking about here the compass calibration. I'm thinking that one may just be sort of automatic when you power it up. I'd have to read through this, but it's not. It doesn't. I don't see a diagram for a stick combination to start that. Lots of times they do have a stick combination or a button on the controller. Other times it'll just go straight into compass calibration mode, or it may pop up on the app and tell you to press a button to start it. There's a lot of different ways that they do that. So yeah, this looks like everything. We got it weighed, all the stuff we want to make sure we cover in this unboxing and overview of this little drone. Again, it's really nice that this is under 250 grams, especially for many of the foreign people. Obviously Amazon, I don't know if this is sold at all the foreign spots. So when I mentioned this is more important, of course this may only be sold in the US, and if that's the case, the 250 gram limit isn't such a big deal. It's basically just saving you $5 and having to put your number on there. You have to abide by all the same rules, so it's not really, if you're worried about the $5, you probably shouldn't be buying a drone. That's what I'm saying. So the sub 250 is not really relevant too much in the US, but it is in other countries, and this could be available in the UK or Australia or places where they have Amazon stores. I just don't know. I was just sent to it from the US warehouse, and that's what I'll be linking to down in the product description. So if you want to take a chance on this drone right now, there will be a purchase link in the video description to this. At the very least, you can check it out to see what I was talking about, the very slight cosmetic differences between this one and that one. But otherwise, I would say hold off. It would be probably irresponsible to buy this drone now without seeing the flight review to actually see if I think this drone is worth it. If it flies really well and it's stable and it does a good return to homes, then I probably would say it'll probably be okay, because I don't usually expect a whole lot from the camera on these drones. Alright guys, that wraps up the unboxing overview of the Contixo, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, F30 foldable brushless GPS drone. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. At the same time, click that bell on the YouTube page so you are notified every time I upload a new video. I never can say that. And as always guys, have a wonderful day.